Good morning and welcome back to day 9 of the $20,000 December challenge. We have got 3 jobs on the schedule for today. Shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully it won't be a super long day, and I'm blessed with somewhat of a dry day, so that will for sure make things go a little smoother. I've got some messages that I have to send out. I got some estimates out last night and waiting to hear back from some people, but I still have a few left that I have to go and message. So hopefully I can get all those out today, and I'll probably be turning on ads soon too. So that's kind of the plan. I also have to find something for tomorrow. So I'm kind of hoping that I hear back from somebody, some of the estimates that I've sent out, to hopefully get a good job scheduled for tomorrow, but obviously I can't wait too long on that. That's kind of that, and yeah, I'm gonna get to it, so I will see you at the job. I am at the first job of the day, and this is just a gutter cleaning, so this one really should not be too bad. It is a big house, but just check this out. Such a sick place. Yeah, big house, but really the gutters hardly have anything in them. They're not bad at all. It's all of the debris is in the failure points. They're clogging downspouts. I mean, you can see here. This one, hardly anything, just on the side. Same here, except right there, the failure point. And it's the same like that everywhere. I have got a fair bit of debris to blow off the roof, and then there's also a couple of spots that are attached to the house, but I can't get to them from this part of the roof, so I'm gonna have to be moving some ladders around. Regardless of how much debris is in there, it'll still take some time, but I think we're gonna go ahead and get to it. It is 10:30, so I should have an update for you once I'm all finished up, and we are heading out to the second one, because I'm not going to try and record doing all these gutters. I have just finished up with that first job. It is currently 1:05, so that took a little bit longer than expected, or than I was hoping for, I guess. But here's the beauty of it. All 3 of these jobs are on Fox Island, which means that they're all less than 10 minutes apart. And this one was a $450 job plus tax, and she has I don't know if you can really see it, but over here, kind of behind the bushes here, that is a detached shed, and it's got a little bit of moss growth on it. This is a recurring job for me. I have never done that shed for her before, and so she had a little bit of moss growth starting on it, and it's got a couple of straight shot gutters, and so I ended up just covering the thing in powder and doing the gutters for her, and that's an extra $100, so that brings it up to $550. So this will end up being a good day. I just need to figure something out for tomorrow. I have not had a chance. I just got in the car, so I have not had a chance to look at messages, and I don't usually send out bids halfway through the day. I try to focus on getting the jobs done at hand and maybe answering some phone calls, but I really try to save as much for after work as I can. So anyways, that's that. I think I might go grab a lunch real quick, because there's a store that's like 2 minutes away, and then I'll be heading off to our second job, so I'll see you there. We are at the second job finally, and I actually got started. I got the upper section gutters taken care of, roof blown off, etc. We still got a little bit of lower stuff to do. Just wanted to give you an update as to where we're sitting. Everything's going real smooth. This guy actually talked to me, and this is kind of an interesting situation. In business, customers, there's obviously people are different, but you end up finding trends, right? Some people, regardless of price, are always going to negotiate. Some people, regardless of price, are always going to be, oh my gosh, This guy, fantastic customer, absolutely love this guy. In fact, he sent me a ridiculous amount of work, but this is kind of what you have to do. So he was talking to me and telling me that, he just got new gutters installed not all that long ago, and he wanted them cleaned again, fresh start for the season, for wintertime to come around. And so I gave him the same prices I always have, which I think was $300 for gutter cleaning, and then $150 for a powder treatment. This is one of the first jobs I did. In fact, I did this one while I was still doing this as a side hustle, so old prices. So then he shoots back and says, you know, hey, they were just installed not all that long ago. There really shouldn't be all that much in there. And so I basically told him that, you know, hey, this is assuming that the gutters are completely full. And once I get up there and I can see, because he was pretty insistent, you know, hey, let's work this down because they're not that full. But you know, you still have to cover yourself. You can't just immediately agree all the time, because that's how you end up getting shafting yourself on some of these jobs and pricing, because that is the biggest mistake that people end up making and that ends up putting them out of business. So just having that conversation with them, and I will end up giving this guy a pretty good discount because that really did not take very long. I've still got a little bit more work to do and I got to powder it, and now having experience with some of this kind of stuff, that's really just talking to people and saying, hey, because you know, your margins aren't that crazy and you have to still make money. And so all that it comes down to is, hey, this is what I have to work with. And so I can't I have to eat too, you know? And so you actually have ground to talk. It's not like, you know, you're just begging these people for work, you know? That's how you end up going out of business. So anyways, that's kind of, I guess, some advice, but we're going to get going on the lower section. We've got all of this taken care of. We've got the backside all done. So all the upper roof is done, and then we got all this done here. So I'm gonna get back to it. Alrighty, so we've just finished up the second job of the day. It's currently 3:30. Took a little bit longer than I was hoping it would, but that's okay. We still made really good money on it. I think, I have to look at the bill. I think that I'm gonna end up taking 50 or 100 bucks off the original price, which was 300 bucks for gutter cleaning and then 150 for the moss prevention treatment. So the only thing I don't know is whether or not I added a discount, because usually I do add a discount for doing a gutter cleaning and a powder treatment at the same time. So in other words, I don't know exactly what the numbers are gonna be for that one, but we're definitely making good money today, especially with that extra 100 bucks from the last customer. So hopefully this next job, especially because it is 3:30 and it's been getting dark really damn fast, doesn't take too long. I don't think it should take more than an hour, if I'm being completely honest. Although I could see it taking around an hour and a half. I think every time I've done this job, the one I'm going to, it has been it's been like pouring down rain, and so that ends up making it a lot harder to blow the roof off and ends up taking quite a bit longer. So time will tell. I had a very interesting text message from a new lead, not a new lead, but one that I haven't gotten an estimate out to yet, and I'll show you that probably once we get to the next job, or maybe once we're back at home, once I've got a response from her. Because, so one of the biggest things, and especially in a business like this, it's very difficult because we are selling a commodity for the most part, right? So because we're selling a commodity, what most people do is all they look at is price when they're comparing companies, right? Well, unfortunately, there is a lot of companies that still are pressure washing shingle roofs and using ineffective cleaning methods, or ones that can end up causing a significant amount of damage to roofs. Even something as simple as using zinc on a concrete tile roof can end up literally destroying the roof, like having to replace the roof within like 5-10 years. So that is something that I really pride myself on, and I don't call myself a cleaning company. Whenever somebody asks, or something like this gets brought up, because she's asking me to compete on price and compete on the guarantee that this other company gave her, and quite honestly, I have a feeling I'm going to be more expensive. But the deal is that I can guarantee that my stuff is, the cleaning methods that I use are going to keep your roof going for very long, and they're not going to cause damage to roofs, and et cetera, or plants. Because if they're offering for what it sounds like, they said they weren't doing a powder treatment, but I'm assuming because they're offering a 3-year like no moss guarantee, at least that's what it sounded like. And if that is the case, then that sounds like they're doing probably a soft wash, or they're just talking out their ass. But if they're doing a soft wash in the pouring down rain, there's two deals with that. There's a ton of YouTube videos all over the place about basically why you can't do it. And I actually had experience doing it because I didn't set a hard cutoff date, not this year, but the last year, as for when I was doing soft washes. And the last soft wash that I did, it started raining. It had rained the night before, and it started raining while I was up there still spraying. And essentially what that did is it washed away my chemical before it could do anything, which luckily for me, he had gravel pretty much around the whole house, and so I didn't have to worry about like runoff killing grass or anything. But it rendered my spray completely ineffective because the moss was already full of water. So anyways, I will be pretty curious to hear back from her and see what she says, because unfortunately that is the reality, and you just have to be okay with it. You can't rush this stuff, like rush to try and get every job that you possibly can. It's not worth it. It's genuinely not worth it. You can go and work for less customers and make substantially more. Like, the only reason that I'm possibly able to make 20 grand this month by myself is because I'm working for people that understand what they're actually buying. And, part of that, of course, is experience and you being not a salesman, but being authentic and knowing what you're doing, Anyways, I will be at the next job in a few, and so I will update once I'm there. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I seem to have lost the footage because I know that I recorded a video there. I don't know if I got a good one at the beginning of that job, but I ended up getting a long one at the end, and I'm just not sure what happened. But anyways, it ended up taking me about an hour and 45 minutes to do this third job. Came out really good. Didn't have any hiccups. It just took a little bit longer than I was hoping for it to. It did end up getting dark. I think that I finished up right around 5. I also found while I was up there a gutter that was coming disconnected from the fascia. So they didn't have the gutter spikes. They had the little screws that are about that damn big, and those had just come disconnected. So I ended up just zipping that in for them. Those screws, it was like 4 hangers or something, and didn't charge for it because that was a long-term recurring customer, and that takes no time. But they even asked, and so you can literally charge for everything. Kind of all of that being said, everything really went well. The day ended up looking really good. Payment-wise, we did pretty good. I don't recall exactly what it was, but really what I wanted to talk about here was this lady from earlier that I talked to you about, who was kind of fighting me, trying to make me compete with some other company. So essentially, she filled out the form on my Facebook. I reached out. So I asked her if it was just tree debris or moss, if there was any moss growing on the roof. She said it's moss. So at that point, then I asked for a picture and explained that if it's just tree debris and gutter cleaning that she's looking for, or a powder treatment, then I can do that, quote, all remotely. If there is any moss, then I would need to see a photo, or I could come out in person, but it would take a lot longer for me to do that. And that's for this challenge. I'm trying to do everything remote, as much as I can at least. So she ends up sending me the address and not a picture, because she was hoping that I could see the moss on Google Maps. So I told her I couldn't. So I basically said that, hey, I should have some time after work, so that was today, to be able to go and just swing by, do a quick drive-by, and see what the moss looked like. So she said, sure, I'm home now. And then a few minutes later, she texted me again. Well, I just heard the quote from another bidder. He quoted me $575. This is a 3-year guarantee, and they don't use a powder for keeping the moss off. If you can beat that price and can give me the same service, then we'll consider your service. Thank you. So that already kind of puts me off. And it's not like, I obviously don't want to be getting into fights with people, and it's like, you know what, but the deal is if I'm not like very welcomed, then I don't want to be there. So I ended up sending her kind of a long message and basically just saying, or really questioned the validity of a 3-year guarantee without using a treatment. If they're doing a spray treatment, i.e. soft wash, roof wash, it could end up causing plant damage, and et cetera, et cetera. I went into that a little bit, and also kind of touched on how there's some people making some very bold claims and not being able to back it up. Because that price, quite honestly, I took a look at her house. Her house wasn't super big, but even still, I would probably, if half the roof was covered, it was a kind of like a double wide manufactured home. And it was a bit bigger than that, but so probably around the 1,500 square foot mark or so. And I would quite honestly probably be around 800 unless it was just a very, very small section that had it. So anyways, I basically said that I didn't even give her a price or anything, but I ended up, after all of that, saying that, I I'm in business to keep roofs going as long as possible using the safest methods. But unfortunately, I would love to still give you a quote, but I can't do that without having seen the roof either in person or by pictures. Okay, so then I said, I'm in business to keep roofs lasting as long as possible using the safest cleaning methods available, not just to make them look pretty for $1 less than everybody else. Let me know what you would like to do, because again, I'm not here to compete on price and be the cheapest guy and just to get the work. I don't need it, and I don't want to work for absolute bottom dollar, because in this business, price matching just ain't worth it. Then she fires back and says, I'm sorry, if you can't beat that price without looking at my house and gutters, I'll have no choice but to go with someone else. I'm on a fixed income, and if I can get a roof clean for 3 years, that would give me that much longer to be able to sell this house. Every business thinks they are the best. However, I can only afford what means I have. So you tell me what your quote is, and I will get back to you. So that was a good message. I've done free work before. Like, I mean, you've seen, I don't charge for everything. And a lot of times if I'm up there and they need something small, I'll give them a big discount or whatever. And so I've worked with people. Not everybody has a super high income, that's the average person doesn't. And so I'm trying to, be able to help kind of everybody out there and be very fair with my pricing. Either way, I can't work for nothing, I can't work for at cost. So anyways, I ended up taking a little bit because I was on that third job to respond. She said, it's getting dark. Were you able to see my house? And I didn't respond for about 10 minutes. And then she says, I changed my mind. You can do your business with someone else. I am no longer interested with your business. God bless you and happy holidays. So that ends up being the end of it. And you know what? That wasn't like a crazy one by any means. But quite honestly, I feel like I really avoided something there, because you get with these customers that, they just give me. And it's like, come a point, you have to draw a line. And then when you finally do draw the line, it's like a big fucking blow up and 1-star reviews and blah, blah, blah. So I'd rather just cut it off early and go on to the next. So anyways, that's kind of that. Like I said, the rest of the day went fantastic. And yeah, that's kind of it. So anyways, thanks for watching. And I hope to see you tomorrow for, I believe, 2 jobs that I've got scheduled so far. So anyways, I'll see you tomorrow.